Just 3 vitamins each morning, and a 68-year-old man was walking steady again in just 7 days. It might sound too simple, but stories like this are becoming more common. I still remember a patient of mine, Mrs. Evelyn Thomas, a 74-year-old widow who came into the clinic with tears in her eyes. For months, she couldn't get up from her chair without help. Her legs felt like cement blocks, and she had all but given up on going outside. We started her on a simple daily routine: vitamin D3 to restore her muscles, B1 to bring back energy, and B12 to reconnect her nerves. Within 2 weeks, she was walking to the market again by herself. No physical therapy, no expensive equipment, just the right nutrients at the right time. So why do our legs seem to fail us so quickly after 60? And more importantly, why do most seniors have no idea what's really happening inside their bodies? The truth is, we've accepted leg weakness as a normal part of aging when in fact it's a sign of something preventable and even reversible. Before we can fix the problem, we need to understand it. That's why in the next section, we'll uncover the real reason your legs lose strength so quickly after 60, and what you can do to stop it. Let's begin with part II, what's really going on. Many people over the age of 60 begin to notice that their legs feel heavier, weaker, or less responsive. They struggle to get up from chairs, climb stairs, or walk for more than a few minutes without fatigue. The most common reaction: I'm just getting old. But here's the truth: muscle loss in older adults is not an inevitable consequence of aging. It's a medical condition called sarcopenia, and more importantly, it's preventable and to some extent reversible. Sarcopenia is the progressive loss of skeletal muscle mass, strength, and function. It often begins as early as the 5th decade of life, but accelerates rapidly after the age of 60. According to research published by the American Geriatric Society, seniors can lose 1–3% of their muscle mass every year. That might sound small, but over 5 years, it can translate into a 15% decline in strength, enough to turn independent living into assisted care. The root causes are multi-layered. First, there's a decline in nutrient absorption. As we age, the gastrointestinal tract becomes less efficient. The stomach produces less hydrochloric acid, which is essential for breaking down proteins and releasing key vitamins like B12 and minerals like calcium and magnesium. At the same time, the liver and kidneys, which help convert inactive forms of nutrients like vitamin D into their usable forms, also experience age-related functional decline. In short, even if you're eating well, your body may not be absorbing what it needs to maintain healthy muscles. Second, chronic underuse of muscles plays a significant role. Most seniors gradually reduce physical activity due to joint pain, fatigue, or fear of falling. This leads to muscle atrophy, particularly in the legs, the largest and most load-bearing muscles in the body. Less activity means fewer stimuli for the muscles to rebuild or maintain themselves. Without the push from walking, squatting, or climbing, muscle fibers shrink and lose tone. Over time, this makes daily tasks not just difficult, but dangerous. Perhaps more troubling is the widespread myth that weakness is simply a natural part of aging. Many older adults resign themselves to physical decline, believing that frailty is an unchangeable fate. This mindset is deeply harmful. In clinical practice, I've treated countless patients who initially dismissed their fatigue and unsteadiness as normal. But after proper nutritional support and a basic movement plan, many saw dramatic improvements in just a matter of weeks. The problem was never age, it was untreated deficiency and disuse. Take, for example, Mr. John Bennett, a 72-year-old retired electrician who came to my clinic complaining of leg fatigue and frequent stumbles. He assumed his condition was just a part of getting old. But after a full assessment, we discovered significant vitamin D and B12 deficiencies, along with limited physical activity. Within 4 weeks of targeted supplementation and a light walking regimen, John was back to hiking trails he hadn't attempted in years. The takeaway here is crucial. While we cannot stop time, we can absolutely slow down and even reverse muscle loss. The body retains an incredible capacity to heal and rebuild when given the right tools. But to do that, we must first let go of the fatalistic view that weakness is destiny. Instead, we must recognize it as a signal, a prompt to take action. So, if we know that aging alone isn't the true culprit behind leg weakness, then the next question becomes: what are the specific nutrients the aging body needs to recover its strength? What can act as the master switch to turn muscle function back on? That brings us to one of the most powerful yet overlooked nutrients in geriatric health: vitamin D3. Vitamin D3 is often underestimated, reduced to little more than a sunshine vitamin. But in reality, for people over 60, it functions more like a master switch, one that restores muscle strength, stabilizes balance, enhances calcium absorption, and reduces the silent decline of joint and bone integrity. Without sufficient D3, even a healthy diet and daily walking routine may not be enough to rebuild what aging has slowly taken away. Let's begin with calcium. Vitamin D3 enhances the absorption of calcium in the intestines and helps regulate its levels in the blood. But the story doesn't end with bones. Calcium is essential not just for bone density, but for muscle contraction and nerve signaling. Without D3, calcium absorption drops and the muscles, particularly in the legs, don't receive what they need to function effectively. That's why people with low D3 often describe their legs as heavy, their joints as stiff, and their movements as sluggish. Beyond calcium, D3 plays a critical role in muscle regeneration. It supports the activation of satellite cells, muscle stem cells responsible for repair and growth. This is especially crucial in older adults whose regenerative capacity has declined. With sufficient D3, muscle cells respond more efficiently to activity, enabling quicker recovery and rebuilding after movement. It's like flipping the breaker in a darkened house. Suddenly, the system powers back on. Scientific evidence supports these mechanisms. At the University of Birmingham, researchers observed that participants over 65 who supplemented with just 800 IU of vitamin D3 daily for 5 days experienced, on average, a 19% improvement in leg strength within weeks. Another study from China reinforced these findings, noting measurable improvements in balance and gait in seniors with mild physical activity and D3 supplementation. Meanwhile, data from Harvard's Geriatric Research Center revealed that seniors with vitamin D3 deficiency were 40% more likely to fall or require hospitalization due to fractures and muscle weakness. A real-life example brings this home. Mr. Robert Hughes, a 74-year-old retired teacher, came into my clinic after suffering 2 falls in less than 3 months. He had no major illnesses, no neurological disorders, just chronic leg weakness and poor balance. Blood tests showed critically low vitamin D3 levels. We began a simple regimen: 1,200 IU of vitamin D3 daily, taken after breakfast alongside healthy fats like avocado or olive oil. Within 10 days, he reported feeling steadier. After 4 weeks and daily short walks, Robert no longer relied on his cane and regained confidence in his step. What changed wasn't magic, it was biochemistry corrected. However, many seniors make common mistakes with D3. Some take it sporadically, some consume it without dietary fat, which impairs absorption since it's fat-soluble, and others take it late in the day, leading to sleep disturbances. The best time to take D3 is in the morning or early afternoon, always with a meal that includes healthy fat. Eggs, salmon, yogurt, or a drizzle of olive oil will do just fine. The recommended dosage varies. For healthy adults over 60, 800 to 1000 IU daily is sufficient. However, for those who have fallen, feel unsteady, or have osteoporosis, doctors often recommend 1500 to 2000 IU. Importantly, exceeding 4000 IU daily over long periods can lead to toxicity. Symptoms include nausea, constipation, kidney stones, and even arrhythmias. Always consult a physician and monitor D3 levels through periodic blood tests, especially if you're also taking calcium supplements. Another oversight is relying on food alone. While fatty fish like sardines or mackerel, eggs, and fortified milk provide some vitamin D, reaching the optimal daily dose through food alone is impractical for most seniors. For example, one egg contains only about 40 IU of D3. You'd need to eat over 20 eggs daily to reach therapeutic levels, clearly unrealistic. As with any supplement, context and timing are everything. But when used correctly, vitamin D3 can reverse years of unnoticed decline in balance, coordination, and leg power. It's not just about bones, it's about restoring trust in your own body. Which brings us to the next piece of the puzzle. While D3 powers up the skeletal and muscular systems, it does little for the actual communication between your brain and muscles. That crucial neurological connection, the one that lets your legs react, respond, and move in sync, relies on something else entirely: vitamin B12. Let's explore why this next vitamin may be just as critical to your strength as D3. If vitamin D3 strengthens your bones and muscles, then vitamin B12 is the wire that reconnects your brain to your legs. Without it, the communication between your central nervous system and lower limbs becomes scrambled, delayed, or even lost, leading to instability, slow reflexes, and frequent stumbles. For seniors, this disconnection can be devastating. Vitamin B12 plays a pivotal role in nerve function by maintaining the myelin sheath, a protective coating around nerve fibers that ensures smooth and accurate signal transmission. When B12 levels are low, the myelin sheath degrades and nerve signals become impaired, particularly in the peripheral nerves that control your legs and feet. This leads to sensations like numbness, tingling, or the feeling that your legs are asleep or not listening. Worse, this disconnect increases the risk of falls, the leading cause of injury among seniors. A powerful study from Oxford University tracked seniors over the age of 65 and found that those with low B12 levels walked more slowly, had poor balance, and were twice as likely to fall within a year. Meanwhile, in the Journal of Gerontology, researchers conducted an 8-week trial where participants were given 1000 mcg of vitamin B12 daily. The results were striking. Participants reported less numbness, faster walking speed, better reaction times, and greater overall stability. One case I'll never forget is of a 69-year-old woman named Nancy Harris. She came in describing her legs as unpredictable. She often missed steps, stumbled over flat surfaces, and once fell trying to turn around in the kitchen. Tests showed her B12 levels were borderline deficient. Within 2 weeks of starting a daily 1000 mcg dose of methylcobalamin, a highly absorbable form of B12, her balance improved, and the leg fog she once described had lifted. By week 4, she walked confidently without assistance. Her words were simple but powerful. "It's like my legs remembered how to be mine again." Who should consider B12 supplementation? If you're over 60, your risk is already high. As we age, stomach acid production declines, making it harder to extract B12 from food. The risk is even greater if you follow a vegetarian or low-meat diet. Take acid-reducing medications like omeprazole or ranitidine, have diabetes and take metformin, suffer from gastrointestinal issues like IBS or gastritis, regularly consume alcohol, have undergone weight loss or digestive surgeries. Signs of deficiency often go unnoticed or mistaken for just getting older. These include leg weakness, unsteady gait, unexplained fatigue, mood changes, forgetfulness, and subtle clumsiness, like dropping objects or stumbling when turning quickly. Tingling in the feet, dull aches in the calves, and mental fog are also common red flags. B12 supplements are extremely safe, water-soluble, and well-tolerated even in high doses. The recommended daily amount for seniors ranges from 500 to 1,000 mcg. Methylcobalamin is the preferred form since it does not require conversion by the liver and is ready for use immediately. It can be taken as sublingual tablets dissolved under the tongue, chewables, or sprays, ideally with breakfast or lunch, and never with tea or coffee, which can inhibit absorption. As always, the key lies in consistency and awareness. A simple blood test can confirm your B12 status, and improvements often come quickly once the deficiency is addressed. For many seniors, restoring B12 isn't just about energy, it's about control, confidence, and coordination. But while B12 repairs the wiring, there's still one critical piece missing: energy. Muscles and nerves can only work efficiently if there's fuel to drive them. That fuel, especially for your legs, comes from a lesser-known but equally vital nutrient: vitamin B1, also known as thiamine. Let's now look at how this often overlooked vitamin can bring power and purpose back to every step you take. Vitamin B1, also known as thiamine, is one of the most underrated yet essential nutrients for anyone over 60, especially those struggling with fatigue, leg weakness, or a noticeable loss in daily energy. While vitamin D3 turns on your muscle systems and vitamin B12 connects your brain to your limbs, B1 is what actually powers those systems. Without it, your muscles are like a car with no gas. Thiamine plays a critical role in converting carbohydrates into ATP, the main unit of energy your body uses for every movement, contraction, and breath. ATP is what fuels your leg muscles when you walk, climb stairs, or simply stand up. As your largest muscles, your legs require a constant supply of this cellular fuel. When thiamine is in short supply, ATP production stalls, leading to muscle fatigue, heaviness, and poor endurance, even after just light activity. Let me tell you about Mrs. Linda Carter, a 70-year-old retired librarian. She came into my clinic barely able to climb 5 steps without feeling winded and dizzy. She described her legs as dragging bags of wet sand. Lab tests revealed no major cardiovascular issues, but her thiamine levels were significantly low. We started her on 100 mg of vitamin B1 per day, combined with a slow reintroduction of physical activity. Within 10 days, she was walking laps around her backyard. By week 3, she was attending morning Tai Chi with her neighbors. The transformation was remarkable, not because of some new medication, but because her cells finally had the fuel to move again. Vitamin B1 deficiencies are more common than most people realize, especially in seniors. Several factors contribute to this: diabetes and metformin. Thiamine is often depleted in diabetic patients, especially those on metformin. The drug increases the loss of B1 through the urine. Diuretics, commonly prescribed for hypertension or heart failure, diuretics flush thiamine from the body. Alcohol consumption. Even moderate alcohol intake interferes with B1 absorption in the gut. Poor diet. Seniors who eat fewer whole grains, legumes, or meats are more likely to miss out on B1, especially if they rely on processed foods or have decreased appetite. Signs of B1 deficiency can be subtle at first. muscle fatigue after short walks, calf cramps at night, feeling breathless climbing stairs, or a sense of weakness that doesn't improve with rest. Some people also report mental sluggishness, loss of appetite, or a general low-energy state. These symptoms are often brushed off as aging, but they're really biochemical distress signals. Fortunately, thiamine is water-soluble and safe even at higher doses. For therapeutic purposes, doctors often recommend 50 to 100 mg daily for seniors showing symptoms of deficiency. The best time to take B1 is in the morning with breakfast, ideally alongside protein and healthy fats to support absorption. Avoid taking it with black tea, coffee, or alcohol, which can inhibit its effectiveness. B1-rich foods include whole grains like brown rice and oats, legumes, beans and lentils, sunflower seeds, pork, and organ meats. However, because thiamine is sensitive to heat and processing, even a seemingly balanced diet may fall short, especially in seniors with poor digestion or medication interference. When replenished, vitamin B1 acts like a spark plug, instantly restoring energy flow and physical motivation. Seniors who had given up on walking distances or participating in daily routines often report feeling lighter, more capable, and mentally clearer within days of proper supplementation. Of course, no vitamin works in isolation. B1 is most effective when used alongside vitamin D3 and B12. Together, When it comes to restoring strength, balance, and energy after 60, taking the right vitamins is only half the battle. The other half lies in timing, food pairing, and individualization. Vitamin D3, B12, and B1 each play distinct roles, but when combined properly, at the right times and with the right meals, they can work synergistically to maximize their benefits. Let's start with timing. Since vitamin D3 is fat-soluble, it should always be taken in the morning or early afternoon, ideally with a meal that includes healthy fats. A breakfast of eggs, avocado toast, or Greek yogurt is perfect. Avoid taking D3 in the evening, as it may interfere with melatonin production and disturb sleep. Aim for 801,000 IU for general health, or up to 2,000 IU for those with known deficiency or fall history, under medical supervision. Vitamin B12, on the other hand, works best when taken around midday or early afternoon. It supports mental clarity and nerve function, so it's ideal to consume it with lunch to avoid potential overstimulation at night. Use methylcobalamin for better absorption, especially in seniors with weaker digestive function. Avoid pairing it with tea or coffee, as tannins and caffeine can block absorption. A lunch of grilled salmon, steamed vegetables, and a whole grain like quinoa makes an excellent companion meal. Vitamin B1 thiamine is your morning ignition switch. Since it fuels energy metabolism, it should be taken with your first meal of the day. Combine it with whole grains like oatmeal, a boiled egg, and a handful of nuts or seeds. Like B12, thiamine absorption is hindered by coffee and alcohol, so leave your coffee at least an hour apart from your supplement. For seniors aiming to rebuild muscle and boost mobility, here's a sample ideal day. Breakfast. Whole grain toast, scrambled eggs, half an avocado, 1 vitamin D3 capsule, and a B1 tablet. Midday lunch. Grilled chicken or tofu, sautéed greens in olive oil, sweet potato, and a B12 lozenge. Dinner light and plant-focused, vegetable soup, lentils, and brown rice. No supplements needed here. Now let's talk about personalizing based on medical conditions. Diabetics, especially on metformin, often need higher levels of both B1 and B12, as these nutrients are depleted faster. A morning dose of B1 100 mg and midday B12 1000 mcg is appropriate. People on acid blockers or PPIs, omeprazole, etc. often have poor B12 absorption, and should consider sublingual forms that bypass digestion. Seniors with kidney disease must be cautious with vitamin D3. Always consult a nephrologist before starting supplementation. Vegans or low-meat diets almost universally require B12 supplementation and may benefit from added D3, especially during winter months. Practical tips to enhance absorption and avoid nutrient waste. Don't take all 3 vitamins at once, space them across the day. Avoid mixing fat-soluble and water-soluble vitamins unless taken with a balanced meal. Keep a symptom journal for 2-3 weeks to track energy, balance, and muscle performance. This helps fine-tune your regimen. When used strategically, these 3 vitamins form a recovery blueprint. They don't just support your legs, they energize your entire life system from head to toe. But knowledge alone isn't enough. You must act on it. So now, let's step back and reflect. What do these lessons mean for your health today? And what simple actions can you take to move forward with confidence? It's time to tie it all together in our final section, putting it into action. By now, it's clear that strengthening your legs after 60 doesn't require intense workouts or expensive treatments. It can begin with just 3 essential vitamins. Vitamin D3 rebuilds muscle and bone strength. B12 reconnects your brain to your legs, and B1 fuels your every step with the energy your muscles crave. Together, they form a powerful trio that not only reduces your risk of falls, but also restores balance, coordination, and most importantly, confidence. These small nutrients offer big results. Firmer legs, better stability, and a renewed sense of independence. So here's the question. If just 3 small capsules a day could help you walk steadier and live happier, would you be willing to start tomorrow? The journey to stronger legs isn't overwhelming, it's intentional. Begin today. Take note of how you feel for the next 7 days. Do your legs feel lighter? Is it easier to stand up or climb stairs? Share your experience in the comments below. Your story could inspire someone else to take the first step toward a stronger, steadier life.